Yes, well, that's the word coming out. The news breaking in Germany from the German news sources DPA and also Der Spiegel magazine breaking that a deal has been reached. We don't know much more about this deal. We'll, of course, have to wait for these party leaders to address the press, which they're due to do shortly. But what we do know from this deal is that the Social Democrats managed to keep hold of the foreign ministry. So there'll be a Social Democrat foreign minister in this agreement, and also that they got hold of the finance ministry, which was something they were really pushing for. And I think will be a big change in Germany if indeed this coalition government does come into effect, because of course we've had a conservative finance ministry for a long time, especially throughout the Euro crisis years, and the Social Democrats really want change when it comes to finances in Germany. So that certainly seems as certainly a big tick for the Social Democrats. But much more about this deal, we don't know yet. As I said, these politicians probably very tired. Ralf Stegner, the deputy leader of the Social Democrats, just left the CDU headquarters where these marathon talks have been happening and took a taxi back to his hotel, saying that he was coming back in a minute. So we're expecting these political leaders to meet again soon at the Conservative headquarters and then address the press and explain exactly what has been agreed.
I mean, Jessica, you touched on it there, marathon talks. This has been no easy feat to finally come to some agreement. There have been a lot of sticking points, people not agreeing on every aspect of this deal.
Absolutely. And it could be that these sticking points remain. I mean, this is a 167-page document, this massive agreement. And many issues were quite easy for these parties to agree on, especially when it comes to European politics. And European politics really at the heart of this big next agreement. It's going to be a big project for Angela Merkel and also, of course, for Martin Schulz, who was previously the head of the European Parliament. And so it seems strange that the sticking points that really dominated the last 2 days of extra time in these talks and went on well into this morning were issues such as healthcare and workers' contracts. But these are important issues for the Social Democrats. These are the kind of reforms that the Social Democrats have been asking for a long time. They've been demanding a fairer healthcare service in Germany. They want to streamline the two-tier healthcare service that we currently have, which is private and public, make it more accessible, make it fairer. And also Martin Schulz especially has been pushing for temporary workers' contracts in Germany to be got rid of ultimately. And it's very important that Martin Schulz seemed to be getting his way in at least parts of these agreement, because of course he has to convince his party base to vote yes on this agreement, and that's not going to be an easy task.
Jessica, Doug here, just very quickly, from what you were saying before, if indeed it is borne out that the Social Democrats have secured some of those key ministries, including finance, would this sort of lessen the fact that they are still effectively junior partners in this coalition once again, which had sort of gone against the grain of a lot of Social Democratic members?
I think that's certainly what Martin Schulz is going to have to argue, because, of course, the Social Democrats' party base is very dubious at this stage whether or not another grand coalition would be a good idea. They believe that one of the reasons that they secured their worst result in history in the election in September was because ultimately, as junior coalition partners in the last coalition government, they really suffered under the Conservatives. The Conservatives appropriated a lot of their best ideas. So really moving forward, and in this agreement, the Social Democrats really having to have to put their hallmark on it. And I think getting the finance ministry was really a big sticking point. I don't think the Conservatives would have given that up easily. So I think that's a big thing in Martin Schulz's favour, and he can really argue that it's an end, or at least moving away from the years of conservative austerity towards more social democratic ideas when it comes to finance. And that may certainly affect the Social Democratic vote.